The New York Jets made a big-time trade yesterday. They made two trades, actually. But in this video, I want to focus on Harrison Phillips from the Minnesota Vikings. And I got a special guest on today's video, a great friend. He is the main Vikings contributor of the Roundtable Sports Network over on the NFC North Roundtable. You guys know him as OneBar. So let's bring him on in. OneBar, I'm excited to pick your brain about Harrison Phillips because Jets fans want to know everything there is to know about this guy. Welcome to Jets Media, my man. How you doing?
Richie, great to be here. Thanks for having me. Excited. I'm wearing black for a reason. I'm still in mourning. Horrible hair. You guys got him. We love him. It hurts our hearts.
Wow.
But you know what? I'm looking forward to talking it over. Harrison Phillips, great dude on the field, off the field. You guys got a good one.
And that's exactly what I wanted to get your thoughts of, because whenever the Jets make a trade for somebody, the way I first evaluate, or even if it's like a free agent signing, how does the fan base react of the team that's letting go of him? And I looked at and I saw a lot of Vikings fans on X get a little upset about it, which is why I'm like, I got to hit up my boy OneBar. I got to get him on the show. I got to hear your thoughts of it. So what is the overall consensus from Vikings fans? Because I want to get your thoughts of that first. Why will the Vikings trade him when the Vikings are going into a win now season? Is it a salary cap issue, even though the Vikings are paying half his salary? So why would the Vikings trade him away?
Well, it's crazy. So we were actually live on NFC North Roundtable when this went down. And I can't remember who it was. Baz, somebody said, hey, you guys just traded Harrison Phillips. I thought they were messing with me. Like, I'm like, no, we didn't. I'm like, and finally I looked, I'm like, because he's one of the last guys, honestly, you would think the Vikings would move on from. Like, there's never been any chatter about moving on from him. He's nothing but a great guy, like I said, on and off the field. So it was extremely surprising. I told co-host Lupagus yesterday on our live, like, if I could have picked like four guys that I thought the Vikings wouldn't trade, he would have been one of them.
Really?
And it's not just so much like his talent, and we'll get into that, but it's just he's on the defensive line. He's not that expensive. I looked, he's like the 45th paid defensive tackle. It's like he's a good, hardworking dude, and it's crazy. But as far as the reaction from Vikings fans, I mean, Vikings fans, like a lot of fan bases, like to overreact right out of the gate. We're a little crazy. So I think it was more shock as far as who was traded and what we got for him, and the fact that we did pay half that salary, then more so when you take a step back and look at it, it started to make a little more sense. I mean, we're in the grieving process, and now we're trying to trick ourselves into thinking that this was a good move. But I think the biggest reason why they did this from a Viking standpoint is they do have a handful of young guys that they're very excited about. And obviously there's a lot of rumors out there going on in the Vikings. You know, are they going to add a receiver? Were they clearing up some space? Or they need these draft picks to go get a receiver? So I think in the coming days, we'll see if there's a corresponding move.
And I was actually live on the AFC East Roundtable at the same time when the news broke. So here was the NFC North Roundtable last night. As you guys know, OneBar is the Vikings representative. This was last night's NFC North Roundtable, and the news broke live, and I was shocked too. I was live on the AFC East Roundtable when the news broke, and I'm like, what? Because he's also a former Buffalo Bill. He was drafted by the Bills, so Dan had his whole scouting report to let me know about him, and it seemed like, you know, the news being broken on the Roundtable, it's a different energy when you see, you know, the news break and you have your division rivals breaking it for you. So it definitely makes sense why the Vikings did it if they have a lot of talent around him at that specific position, especially from the youth standpoint. And from the Jets perspective, we have Quinnen Williams, which he's a star in this league. But outside of him, there's not a lot of guys that specialize against the run. So Jets fans' perspective is we made this move because we need bodies that specialize against the run. So why don't you let us know about who is Harrison Phillips in terms of a defensive tackle? Is he that pure run stuffer? Because I looked at the numbers, I looked at, you know, a lot of film, and it seems like that is what his strengths are. So why don't you give us a scouting report, OneBar? Who is Harrison Phillips as a football player? What should we expect from him?
Yeah, you nailed it. He is the run stuffer. He is the big bowling ball you want in the middle. He is not going to be somebody out there that's going to be making sexy plays. And half the time when the game is over, you don't even realize he's out there because he's really making room for other guys to make plays. The thing with Phillips is he's a perfect Robin to somebody's Batman. Like, he's not like you have Williams, so he's going to come in and be the Robin. The crappy part for the Vikings is he's never had that guy. He's always had to be that Batman on the defensive line. We've had guys like Jerry Tillery next to him. We've had guys like Ross Blacklock next to him. He's never had the chance to just kind of be his role where they put him in the middle. He was moving all around that defensive line. And it sucks because this was the year we signed Javon Hargrave and we signed Jonathan Allen, 2 older vets, where finally Phillips is like, all right, play your role. Like, this was his moment. Now we don't even get to see it. But like I said, it's cliche, but he's the lunch pail type defensive lineman that shows up and just stuffs the run. The Vikings have, even with Blacklock and with Jerry Tillery and the other guys that they put around on that defensive line, they're one of the best against the run last year. And that says a lot to Harrison Phillips because he was the star on that defensive line. I think it's going to be a perfect fit for him to go in next to Williams. He's 29 years old. He's still got a couple years left in him. I'm a little jealous that he actually finally gets to play in his actual role. So it'll be fun as hell to watch him. When I look back quick, when we signed him, all the Bills fans were saying exactly what Vikings fans are now saying is like, you're getting a good dude, you're getting a good run stuffer, and that's exactly what you're getting.
That's interesting. And I was doing some research on him, and I think his highlight last year, like his biggest play as a Viking last season, came against the Jets in the London game. And this was a sack on Aaron Rodgers. And I saw this and I had to post it on X. New Jets defensive tackle Harrison Phillips sacking Aaron Rodgers last season. And as you know, OneBar, the Jets are taking on Rodgers week 1. So if there's anything Jets fans want to see, it's this. Now, it was definitely a terrible block from our left guard, John Simpson here. But you see Harrison Phillips just absolutely cream Aaron Rodgers. That is what we want to see as Jets fans in week number 1. Aaron Rodgers on the floor. That's what we want to see when he's wearing that Pittsburgh Steelers uniform in week number 1. I'll be there for that. And it definitely seems like he's a great dude off the field, and that definitely fits the culture that Aaron Glenn is trying to implement here. And I feel like that is important. The Jets also made a trade for a defensive tackle from the Cleveland Browns, Briggs. So we made 2 trades at the same position last year, both specialized against the run. So definitely interesting to see that. And I wanted to get your thoughts, OneBar, of Aaron Glenn. Since he was the Detroit Lions defensive coordinator, you had to go up against him twice, since you are, of course, a member of the NFC North Division. So what is your thoughts of Aaron Glenn, or what have you seen from him as a defensive coordinator for the Lions every time the Vikings had to go up against the Lions? And what do you think he's going to be able to do with the Jets as the head coach?
Oh, no, I think he's going to be fantastic. Going against that Lions defense was brutal at times. And we know last year they were down to like their 3rd, 4th string guys with all the injuries they had, and he was still making it pop. I love that Phillips, at first, no offense, Jets fans, I love you. But when they sent him to the Jets, I'm like, man, I wish he was at least going somewhere where, maybe he gets a ring this year.
He's where he was drafted, though. It's a perfect story.
That's where. So it's like, it was like, all right, fine, whatever. But like, that's how much we respect and love this man. It's like, we're more worried about where he's actually going. But to answer your question, like, I love the fact when you look at the big picture, he's going to Aaron Glenn. He's gonna take very good care of him. He's gonna use him properly because Aaron Glenn, we got Brian Flores as the Vikings defensive coordinator, so he's been in good hands as well. And Glenn's the same thing. He likes to mix it up. He likes to throw random stuff at you, and Harrison Phillips will be a big part of that. I would assume Phillips is starting for you, right?
Yeah, you look at the defensive tackle room, and I think he's going to start right next to Quinnen Williams. And you said that Phillips has been the Batman. He's been the guy of the Minnesota Vikings defensive tackle room. And as you know, we have Big Q. And, we have some young guys that we're excited about. Leonard Taylor III, undrafted last year. He's shown some flashes. We signed Jay Tefele in free agency, and he's showed some flashes. But we don't really have a pure run stuffer, OneBar, outside of Quinnen Williams, who can do everything, stop the run, get to the quarterback. And then, of course, you talk about our edge rushers, Jermaine Johnson, coming back from that Achilles injury last year. Will McDonald had 10.5 sacks last season. So I think that he is going to start next to Mr. Quinnen Williams. And I see that captain badge on his jersey. Was he a one-time captain? Was that last year? And that definitely shows you. Whenever I see someone's a captain, that tells you the type of player he is. That means he's respected in the locker room. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to say he's 2-time. I can't remember.
2-time captain?
I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, that's just another thing. It's like he's a captain. It's crazy. And the guys coming behind him, I say we got some young talent like a Jalen Redmond and Ingram Dawkins they drafted this year that they're very high on. A lot of pressure on these guys to step up because even the 2 defensive ends that we signed, the veterans, they're known for some injuries. So this is a risky move on the Vikings. And when you look at the compensation, like the compensation doesn't match. So that's why Vikings fans are just like, there's got to be another move coming. And if it's a week later and there's still not like a trade or something that they've done, a lot of questions will then start to be brought up. Like, I'm holding out. I'm not getting upset until we see a different move, because basically we got 2 6 and we gave you a 7th.
Yeah, basically.
That doesn't match a Harrison Phillips type of move.
So like from a Vikings fan perspective, it's like, that's all we got for a captain of our defense. That's kind of what the consensus is from Vikings
and
fans.
Paying half the salary. So again, it's like something has to, if this is just the move and this is it, there will be a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think if you're a Vikings fan, there has to be another move to come. And you saw that report from Diana Rossini. She mentioned the Jets are one of 3 teams, including the Vikings, that are looking for a wide receiver. And the whole Jordan Addison situation, Justin Jefferson's hamstring, he's probably going to be good to go for week 1. But I think that from a Vikings fan perspective, this is a move to set up another splash move, because you saw what Sam Darnold did last year with that offensive system, and they're trying to put JJ McCarthy in that exact situation. So I do think that there's going to be a bigger move here from the Minnesota Vikings. And as the Vikings and Jets, they're competing because they both want a receiver. So we'll see who gets one.
Yeah, get your hands off one of our receivers. Do you have a guy in mind you're hoping?
Yeah, we're looking at guys like, Terry McLaurin's the flashy one, but I think that's a little unrealistic. Jets fans have been talking about Romeo Doubs from the Green Bay Packers. I don't think the Vikings would do an interdivision trade, maybe. Alec Pierce from the Colts is a guy that we've been looking into as a vertical threat. I've heard Jacoby Myers' name get brought up. And then there's like delusional Jets fans, maybe even myself. We want Chris Olave complete the Ohio State, get Garrett Wilson, former teammate with Justin Fields, but that's not going to happen. Who are the Vikings looking at a wide receiver?
You pretty much named them all. I mean, Adam Thielen is one that is actually even
the return.
Yeah, I mean, it's an easy, low-hanging fruit, but the Vikings beat writers they're starting to come around. I mean, I think there's a little bit of steam actually happening there. But Alec Pierce is, like you said, I love that dude. I think the Vikings fans are a lot of us just wishful thinking of throwing out these huge names. But when it comes down to it, it's going to be like a Pierce type of signing or a Thielen, somebody like that. And that's what I want. I mean, we got Jefferson. Addison's coming back week 3. Like, we don't need to just go splurge on a receiver.
Yeah, I mean, your weapons are just fantastic. At the tight end, you got arguably the best receiver in football. You got a great number 2 coming back. So I think that the Vikings are in a good spot. And I got to be honest, man, I was rooting for the Vikings last year because of my boy Sam Darnold, but now I've transferred over to the Seahawks because you gave up on my boy. So we'll see what JJ McCarthy looks like, and we shall see. But OneBar, thank you so much for coming on. You were the first person I thought of when the Jets traded for him, and I feel like whenever the Jets make a trade like this, it's awesome for us Jets fans to hear from a Vikings fan standpoint. So why don't you just say your last thing, talking to Jets fans, what are we getting with Harrison Phillips one last time? Just a small little type of encompass of his 4 years with the Minnesota Vikings and what we should expect from him with the Jets.
No, you can expect your run defense to get much better. And the best part is, I mean, in the locker room, he's such a locker room guy. You mentioned the captain. Like, if you got some young guys on your squad, this is exactly the type of guy you want around him. Aaron Glenn they brought him in for a reason. He knows exactly what he's doing. So you're going to get a guy that does not get injured. I don't think he ever missed a game for the Vikings. And that's a big ask as far as what he was doing on this defense. So you're getting a guy that's going to show up week in and week out. And then every once in a while, he'll get that random sack that'll be beautiful. And it might be an accident, and he might just roll into the quarterback, but he's going to get that sack. He's going to get you a good two to three sacks this year. So he'll show a little spark at times too.
I'll take it. I think this is a great trade for the New York Jets standpoint, and I'm excited to see what he looks like next to Quinnen Williams and the rest of this Jets defensive line. Folks, go check out OneBar's YouTube channel. It'll be linked down below in the description. It's him and Lupicus going after everything with the Minnesota Vikings, and definitely go check him out on the NFC North Roundtable so you guys can see what that division is all about. So OneBar, appreciate you coming on in. Hit the like button, and let's go Jets.